Greetings, everyone. It is a pleasure to come your way with this special conversation on the Nabila Show. We are speaking to someone who is aspiring to lead the welfare body of clubs in the country. I'm referring to the Ghana League Clubs Association. And that individual is a former vice president of that association in the person of Mr. Wilberforce Koomson. He was part of the association or that body that organized the G6 and G8 competitions. So he has a clear idea of what the association is all about. In 2016, he contested. 13 people voted for him. He's back again in 2020, trying to unseat the incumbent in the person of Mr. Kujo Fiano, who beat him in 2016 to occupy the position. Mr. Koomson, a pleasure to have you on the Nabila Show.
Thank you, Nabila. It's been a while. We used to have a chit chat, and I remember you coming almost every day to Ghalca Secretariat when I was then the vice chairman. I remember you growing up. Thank God, God has been very fair to you.
God has been fair to me. I remember the 2016 one, the period of 2016 one, when you and I spoke. You gave me a plethora of things that clearly showed that, yes, this was a position for you.
Yes, when you are going for election and you are incumbent, there's temptation for you to be complacent, knowing very well that you occupy the seat and you don't see how you were going to leave the seat for another person. So at that time, I saw it all in all, that is mine, nobody could take it from me. It is until I had the 13 votes, then I realized that when you have a position, there is a way of approaching every election. And after that, I wasn't much worried. You know why? Because the person who was coming to take over was somebody who was a heavyweight in football. He has been in all aspects, national team, the league, every aspect of football, serving Black Star, all places in football that person has been before. And even the Ghalca that I was a vice chairman, he was the one of the foremost administrators, administrative manager, who under his boss, J.Y. Apia, they did very well. So for that reason, I thought we have gotten somebody who, even if my dream of changing the direction of Ghalca at the time couldn't materialize, he's coming to do that for me, but unfortunate.
What happened in the 2016 elections?
Yes, a lot of things. I must say we couldn't, play our cards well. I always say that he didn't win, we lost. Because there are 3 people who all aspire to one direction, who have also, all of us, refused to merge, so that we can carry one message, all of us trying to undo each other. So I wasn't surprised all the 3 of us had 13. And then he had over 60 to win all of us. So just because all of us thought we can lead the association and we couldn't compromise to have a one message. For me, that is only why we lost.
What has changed this time around?
A lot has changed. A lot have changed. One of them is that Mr. Fiano has never been chairman before. I was coming as incumbent. I have chaired the Genesis. I've chaired so many competitions which people have seen. And that time, you remember 2016, there were a lot of challenges coming from World Cup, where we went and performed abysmally. And then our godfather, Kwesi Nyantakyi, also went to election unopposed, where there were a lot of dissenting views after the election. So it's like our football was facing somehow little challenge at the time. So it's like anybody who was seen as being in the camp of Mr. Nyantakyi became somewhere unattractive. So that kick against us, and the man won. And when he won, I have said that I was happy because I thought he was going to change the association. But what did we see? 4 years of total collapse of the association. I hate to start conversation by talking about deficiencies of the incumbent. But you can't go to an election without telling people the realities on the ground. And what are the realities? We are talking, or we are going to an election when a whole secretariat doesn't have a single staff. Isn't it surprising? A whole association that when I was leaving office, we left 4 people. Joyce Asante, we left Prince Parry. We also left accountant Abida. You know her very well. Then a cleaner, 4 workers. Currently, there's no single worker. So I keep on asking that you don't have an accountant. So when money comes, how do you treat it? You don't have an administrative manager. How do you write letters? So the association, as we speak now, is totally on its knees. When we put that aside, we have a constitution that says that when somebody resigns, in 6 weeks, the person must, or there must be a by-election to replace those who left. We were here in September, October. Mr. George Amakon, Samuel Abrobri, and sometime Otua Champo resigned from Ghalca Executive Council to contest for GFA Executive Committee position. Almost 1.5 years now. They have not been replaced. And currently we have only 4 Executive Council members. So if there's going to be a serious meeting on an issue, if for whatever reason one couldn't come, that meeting is kaput. Coupled with them not having even a staff to serve them. You can imagine the situation of the association as I speak to you. Last one I want to talk about, so that I will leave the sad story of Ghalca is where in 4 years they never and were not able to do an account. They compile account from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. And in November, when we went to Congress, that we decided not to talk because we want a smooth transition to another hand. Football people has made a lot of noise too much. So we want to have a system that things could cool down and do things smoothly. So nobody talked. He brought 4 years account that we should review. I was happy immediately he started. Somebody raised his hand and said, they should put it aside and let us move on. And we all supported that because there was nothing we could have done about it than to throw it away. But because we wanted, and at that time, on the 5th, it left with about a week or so for Premier League to start. So many of us went in the meeting not wanting to distract our football, and so that it can gather the momentum it wants to start with. And it went. So at that meeting, when it was over, I thought that the executives at the time were going to do election as they have promised and then hand over and leave. Because for me, very shambolic performance. Not me alone. If you tell this story to anybody who has been in authority before or who is aspiring to be, it's not something. In fact, if Mr. Mianu goes down on this election, he will never be remembered in Ghana football, because anytime we remember, there's nothing for you to tag him with. Very, very. Even when we were going, they said Alhaji Raji couldn't do anything. But for little that you have heard, Alhaji Raji accounted every year. He went to Congress every year. He played competition every year. And when it was 4 years, he did one of the beautiful elections and handed over to Mr. Fiano. But with all these demerits, all this bad news I'm telling you, let anybody who is listening to me have hope that all is not lost. If Mr. Isaac Wilberforce Koomson get the opportunity to rule. Why am I saying so? I have dreamt, visioned, and ready to change the narration of Ghana League Clubs Association. This didn't come today. It came immediately and won an election around 2012, then entered the office. That is where I really understood and saw the dynamics of the association. That stands for the people. So immediately I said, no, this Ghalca story has been told of an agitating group who always want to agitate to get something done. There I realized that the times of those agitations were gone. Now we have to change the direction and then focus on the women that produce and manage football in the country. the administrators. So from there, I struggled with my management to try and change the direction. Unfortunately, when you are playing a second fiddle, you all work in the vision of the leader. So I decided to buy my time and thought 2016 was the time, but it was never was. So I keep on nurturing, and now even more has been added. And to start with, the first one, I have said that it is time club administrators have a policy that protect their own lives.
You know what? You will give me in detail of all these that because we have a very long conversation. If you just joined us, we are having a special conversation with a former vice chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, a former candidate of the association in 2016, and someone who is aspiring to lead them for the next 4 years. The elections will be happening later this month. You've talked about some of the flaws you've seen within the association. In your own words, you said that the incumbent have collapsed the association. Why do you want to lead an association that, in your own words, has been collapsed?
Definitely, when there is a sleeping giant, and you know how to wake up that sleeping giant, you can always go for an election.
Just continue the conversation on sitting down with the YA boss and talking to him about the vision of Ghalca.
Yeah, talking to him about the vision of the association and how is the need for him to get us some of the able men with degree and masters to help the association revive. At least I'm sure I can get 10 staff to come and work at the association, where some of them will be working in the office, others will also work under the sponsorship and marketing committee that I will be forming to go out with the products of our association to sell the ideas and make sure we get sponsorship, and then they also get their
Their commissions. But just before you continue on that tangent, have you tried to find out why Ghalca at this moment do not have staff? And what is the wage bill of Ghalca in terms of recruiting staff so that you can run the association successfully? But first of all, let's have an idea of why they do not have staff anymore.
Yes, I would definitely ask. If I wouldn't ask, then I wouldn't know how I can solve it. Simple, no money to pay them. That is where I get sad. You live in our office for 4 years, you come to meet people in office. They sat down in 4 years, and in the twilight of your tenure, you sack them, that you can't pay them. So the question I keep on asking is that, in 4 years, what were you doing? Because COVID didn't come in 4 years, did it? In fact, I have always said that.
Are they not being paid within the period he was in office? All the 4 years, has he not paid them? Or saying that it's just this year that he hasn't paid?
Oh, a lot. If you ask them, they've been telling you. I can forward what the discussion I've had with other executive council members as to why they have sat down for this thing happen. Just simple answer, they have failed to think outside the box. That is all what I've been saying. Because if you are a father, you have kids to feed, and you are going to sleep, and you know the following day the kids will be hungry. Father, don't you think how you can feed your children? Then the following morning, they all come sit behind the table and ask you, Daddy, where is food? And no food. That is for me, that is what I've failed to do. That is why I've given you one example that if I get opportunity tomorrow, I will do to restore staff at the office. Because when they were working and you didn't know what to do, there should be something you have put them to, okay, to get. I have said that Ghalca is only association in football that has a blank check. When I say, I hope you understand, when somebody gives you a blank check, you can write what you want to go and take, so long as the person have signed for you. Ghalca have that. In a GFA, it will be difficult for GFA to wake up tomorrow and say GFA is doing farming, GFA is doing this. Football people, there will be a hue and cry in the system. But if tomorrow you wake up and you hear that Isaac Wilberforce Koomson led Ghalca is doing poultry farm, You will quickly chase me in the farm and interview me because you think I'm doing good thing that will bring money to the association. Hmm? You have association that will have a huge land around, what do you call, just after Budumbram. You are aware of those land. What did you use? It's still lying down fallow. Nothing. Which today, everybody, government is supporting to go into farming. Why do you sit there for years? It's lying down when people are hungry. You can't pay them.
You see, there's always a conversation that when you are not the head, you come out with a plethora of brilliant ideas. This probably appears to be one of them.
Most definitely, when you sit outside, you can't do anything less than to tell people a vision that they have to buy into it. That's all you can do. But lucky for me, and the difference that makes is that I have been there before. So I know what I'm talking about can be done. How does it take? Individuals are doing poultry farm. So association like Ghalca cannot do poultry farm. This is not difficult thing. This is only the least things I want to do. So it's not something big that you think it needs a lot of thinking. Are you getting me? This is the least things I want to do. The bigger things I want to do, which I believe that it will help the football industry, is what I've talked about as Ghalca, what do you call, bereavement fund, or Ghalca scheme. You understand? That is what, for me, what is going to do the magic for football people. I have also said that there is also no association that have headquarters without branches. Have you ever seen one? But when you come to Ghalca, you see one. We have clubs, their headquarters as Ghalca Secretariat, yet it doesn't have branches. I've told everybody who is hearing my voice today, and every club as administrator and owner has spoken to that thing is going to be a thing of the past under my administration within 2 years. The reason I'm saying 2 years is that I have to amend the constitution to meet the scope of things.
The vision you want to put across.
That is why, and going through the changing of constitution takes a time. That is why I've given myself 2 years. Otherwise, this is 1 year or 6 month thing that should be done. We'll get the regional, we'll decentralize the Ghalca. We'll get the regional bodies across the 10 regions and even 16 regions, because reviewing our constitution is going to tinker or expand or think about the 10 new regional associations that has been created. So in the nutshell, we are going to get 16 regional clubs association across the country. Reason why I'm more interested and convinced and eager to get that done is that many of my vision is anchored in that area. Because when I first talk Ghalca scheme, welfare scheme, Ghalca welfare scheme, as I started it, is where contributes and benefits. As simple as that.
What do you mean by contribute and benefit?
Clubs should contribute and benefit. For example, I am a deputy CEO of Aduana Football Club. Mr. Jehu being the leader or the chairman of Aduana. We have management member like Atadibango, Wafayao, Kobna, Dada, etc., etc. Okay? We manage this ball, this thing, and last year, during we are New Year, so last year, one of our management member passed on. Okay? All what we did is to go and give him farewell. Okay? This management member have kids, has wife, has family. He's dead and nothing beneficial from football fraternity. Okay? Recently, you and I witnessed Alhaji Moro funeral in Brekum. We went there. I was part of the entourage who went to bid him farewell. And after, football people decided to contribute. And in that funeral, we couldn't realize more than 4,000 for Mr. Yakubu Moro. If you remember, he has managed a club to a level that the club has represented Ghana in Africa. With all this, only package we could send, give him is 4,000.
So why must you will continue with that? Why must the football family contribute for a member who has passed on, who has lost a loved one?
Yes, in life, we always say that we'll help each other to live. Okay, we work hand in hand. If we are working and I'm not fit, one held me so that the two of us can move. You understand? In the same vein, it is always good when you know that I'm contributing to this food so that I can eat. It gives you assurance, energy, and power, and right as of right that that food that is being prepared, I have the right to also what eat some. It is only the reason why I've said this fund is being named like that. Contribute so that you can also benefit. How am I contributing? You remember I was naming management team of Adriana for you. So I'm saying that Adriana bring 10 people. 10 management member named to Ghalca. And all the 10 members you are bringing, give insurance of 200 to each of that 10 management member. Are you getting me?
That would be like 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Exactly. So if Adriana have 10 management member like me, and you are paying 200 for me for my insurance, so that in case of my bereavement, in case of my wife, in case of my mom, in case of my dad, Ghalca is going to give a whooping money of 10,000. Would that be too much to ask from Adriana?
For how many years must a club contribute before they meet this satisfaction of giving 10,000 Ghana cedis in terms of someone losing a member?
Not in years, just a year. For example, if I win, I become Ghalca chairman this year, and I'm able to engineer and review the constitution. And within this year, we go to Congress, and Congress accept my dreams, and I accepted the constitution review, and we come back. The next thing is to launch this, and immediately we launch it. I'm not targeting less than 200,000 Ghana cedi as seed money. For this.
And where is the money going to come from? That 200,000 Ghana cedi, where is it going to come from?
My brother, football is a big business. Football is something big in the country. And we are talking about a fund that is going to take care of football industry in Ghana, football people in Ghana. So at the launch, everybody that is involved or a stakeholder is going to be invited, from government to sponsor to everybody. Is going to be invited to contribute onto the fund, because it's a fund that is going to take care of FA president, is going to take care of Ghalca chairman, is going to take care of vice president of football, is going to take care of every football administrator that runs football in the country. In fact, this fund is going to live beyond Isaac Wilberforce Koomson. I will die and this one will be there. That is the legacy I want to leave for the association. I speak about this fund with passion, because I have witnessed football people who have suffered in their life for over 40 to 50 years. Let me add this one. Mr. Menume, everybody knows him. So you agree with me that you have also supported that it's not too much. So in this case, you go to the Division 1. Division 1 is also going to bring the same 10 people, okay? 10 management members. For example, Tama Youth, we're bringing 10 people, including the owner, okay? Pay 1,000 cedis for a whole year. Every member or one of the 10 people, you are paying only 100 cedis for him. Are you getting me? So that when he is bereaved, that any of the 10 members bereaved is getting 10,000. Is this too much to contribute? Answer. This one you can. It's common.
That is quite a rhetorical question that I've just been asked in this conversation. If you just joined us, we are speaking to a Ghalca chairmanship aspirant in the person of Mr. Wilberforce Koomson, a former vice chairman of that association. And he's speaking to us on his vision when delegates gives him the mandate to lead the association. He'll be delving deeper into his vision for the association, but we've also got just maybe one or two tough questions that we'll be asking him to let him clarify some of these things that he wants to put across, because the main key thing is about the Ghalca competitions. Is the competitions that brings in the money. How would Wilberforce Koomson led Ghalca uh, bring in the money into the association? You heard him earlier talk about how the association was even unable to pay their staff. If you're unable to pay a staff of just two people who were subsequently had sacked or had their contracts terminated with a payment plan put across for them, how then do you revive such an association? Mr. Koomson, the core question of how you are going to ensure that there's a fund or a scheme to take care of members of Ghalca is one many people would say it's a very lofty idea. But what is the tendency that this idea would be bought? If it is not bought, what are the alternatives in place to ensure that members within the football fraternity are still taken care of because you are heading an association that says it is the welfare body of clubs?
Thank you very much. I'll be surprised if something you agree with me, somebody will not say buy it. And
My if I agree, I do not have a vote.
don't have a vote. I understand. Definitely, I know that is where you will go. But if you tell people that this is a lofty idea, definitely you are what you call genuine person enough for people to listen to you. But that is beside the point. I'm speaking to my clubmen, and they believe that what I'm talking about is doable because I have not spoken to anybody who has said it's not possible. Because they believe that if you are paying that 100 cities to ensure your management member for a year, it's not any big deal. So then you go to the second division. Across the country in 10 regions, I won't go to the 16, only the 10 regions. In Accra here, they have over 100 second division. Around the 7, regions, they all have between 80 to 120, second division teams. I'm averaging them at 50. Are you getting me? At 50 for the benefit of my conversation and my argument on this scheme. So the 10 regions have 50, and I'm saying every second division should bring the same 10 people and then pay 500 Ghana. So every person the second division is bringing is paying only 50 Ghana per head. When you sum up the calculation, we are around 350,000. You add the second premier 38,000 and division 1 48,000. You are going over 400 Ghana cedis, 400,000 Ghana cedis for a year. Okay. So when you get that 400,000, I'm saying that that money is not coming to Ghalca. That's the unique thing about it. When you tell everybody, yeah, in Kofu Pesika Mubedi, that's what comes to people's mind. Quickly, I tell them that the money is not coming to Ghalca. So we Ghalca holding the money is not the question. Before we put the constitution and other regulation before our General Assembly, we will be telling them, we will be going there with the fund manager. Because Ghalca will advertise to recruit fund managers. Then our consultants will select 3 of them for us. Then we'll go to Congress and ask members, these are 3 what they bring to the table. Let's choose one. So when that is done, okay, that one that we get, that is where that money will go. And immediately we get that one, we plan and launch. So when we launch, whatever money we get will be the seed money to start rolling off the scheme I'm talking to you about. Before the clubs will begin to contribute what they have to contribute, the fund has already started because it has become a law, part of us. And from that time going, anybody who passes on is going to not get no less than 10,000 cedis. So for example, if 1 year 10 football administrators pass on, which is not possible, which has not happened before, but for my calculation says I'm using 10 football administrators, passes on, and you pay everybody 10,000. You are talking about 100,000. You still have 300,000. Are you getting me? Fancy that the dependents of these football administrators, children, wife, mother, also 10 people passes on. Okay? And you also pay another 100,000 for them. You still have 200,000 within that same year. Fancy that Koomson become incapacitated for whatever reason, and I need assistance. Or somebody gets sick in such a way that the person needs assistance. So we spend 50,000 in that area also, making 250,000. In a year, we still have 150,000 sitting there briefing for the association. Meanwhile, we haven't talked about the person who is turning the money around, what will be added. Are you getting?
Why 10,000 cities? Why is it 10,000?
It's 10,000 because I believe it's a good start for any organization, and it's a good motivational package for football people to stay wherever they are. Because, for example, if I work with Adriana and I know when something happened to any of my relatives, including myself, this is package for me. That is alone a job security for me to continue working for Adriana. You understand? Knowing the big money, it's possible that you could go to Congress and people will say, let's pay 150, let's pay 20,000. But me, for sustainability and better turnout of the money, that is my proposition. And I think that that is well enough to motivate everybody to work. Can you imagine something happen and we are going to a funeral and Ghalca present 10,000 as is contributing toward the funeral? Do you know the difference? Do you know the smart it will bring to the bereaved family? It's a big thing. And for me, in that 4 years, if I couldn't bring anything to bear, and I'm able to establish it, do this, when after I'm dead and gone, people will mention as a Koomson as the one who brought this, I'll be satisfied.
Mr. Koomson, why is it only about when you lose someone? Are there other packages that will also serve as a motivator for someone like, say, Talali Sanaye, Frank Nelson, Togbe Afede, your very good self, Georgia Free? Do you have other packages that will also motivate these people? Because clearly, if I can only benefit after losing someone, then what's the focus of still investing in the game?
Yes, that is a bereavement side. But if you heard me well, I've also talked about the sick. If you see my slides, I've also talked about difficult times. Basically, I'm looking out for the person who is in center and think 24/7 about the game, how that person is also cared for. That is not alone. I've also made another promises and vision about this formation or decentralization of our football in these regions, forming these regions. I've also talked about Presidential Cup. You know, Ghalca, one of our biggest products.
You know what? I will come into the Presidential Cup. Before you go in there, what are some of the other packages that the Ghalca under Wilberforce Koomson would be doing apart from the packages you've mentioned for members?
There is this also refresher courses I've also talked about. You know, as we sit here, PFAG always seek to the members welfare of face manager, that's the players. And these days, if a professional player is going to sign a contract, they insist that the player gets satisfied before the player pen his signature. In doing this, they are making the player competitive and looking at his welfare. Currently, Coaches Association, they have also mandated coaches to make sure that they get contracts before they accept appointment as coaches. So that if the team or the club, somebody will say carelessly sack the coach, they can take the coach on at the player status to claim compensation. We are the managers and administrators who employ coaches, who employ players. The question I've been asking any football owner and administrator is that, who take care of our interests?
So how are you going to take care of their interest?
Yes, that is what I've said, that first, there will be at least 1 year refresher course in the year to update the performance of the club administrators, and if you like, the owners, some of the owners, because many of them owners are the same people who also manage their clubs. So there's going to be at least one refresher course to update their knowledge in football. Reason why I keep on saying is that if you see the club licensing requirements, okay, many of administrators and people who do football fall short in the demands of this club licensing. That is why we have started way back 2012 and we're still going at the pace. And for the same reason, our football owners are not also turning their eyes on the way of administrators to also give them the tools and the equipment that will make them effectively and practice what will meet the club licensing requirement.
You were talking about no, the packages you've got for these clubs. The question I'd like to ask is who is going to take care of the cost of these refresher courses for members of Ghalca?
Everything that I'm bringing on board is 50-50 because you are going to benefit, and the association is also going to be proud of what? Also giving you the opportunity to have the certificate you owe. So everything I'm bringing on board is 50-50. You, the participant, you are going to pay half, then the association will also bear half. My administration is going to go into a lot of partnership and sponsorship agreement. I have learned a lot from administration of Mr. Keti U.S. Okroko. He was elected at the time where there is COVID, okay? And if you bear me waiting, from the word go, he hit the ground running, whether COVID or no COVID. He opened and knocked off any door that can be a partner to GFA or can be a sponsor to GFA. I admire that move, and I'm going to emulate that move.
Then again, the question is, who takes care of the cost? You mentioned 50-50. How much is it going to cost for Ghalca to get into these partnerships and send people on refresher courses so that I will know that I'm paying 50% of the cost?
Yes, I'm giving you that scenario to buttress the point that the school, the UOPS that I've targeted, and I'm speaking to the doctors there, okay, that I've targeted, that I'm going to use them for a vehicle and I'm working there. I'm already talking to them about how they can we can be a partnership. Are you getting me? Being a partnership where they can give us opportunity to do this refresher course at a reduced price that we can accommodate. That is why I was giving you where we can go to any place that we can be partners. Because if I'm chasing every door to get sponsorship, at the end of the day, one or two will come. And when this sponsorship comes, that is what we are going to use it for. Things I'm talking about. So when I started that story of FA president, I was not deviating. I was only going to answer your question where you are asking where we can get the money. All over the world, I'm here to know, all over the world, it is sponsorship and partnership relationship that football activities are used in running. I believe you know about that. It is in some extreme cases that the government doles in money to sponsor football activities. Like the President Cup. Everybody from its inception has been a bona fide property of the government of the day. So from the word go of its planning, you plan with the government. When it will be launched, when it will be played, everything, government is on board in its planning. So if I tell you that I'm going to now make a presidential cup a seasonal competition, instead of probably two clubs playing one day, it has become monotonous, boring. We have to think outside the box. We have to be innovative and give job for people to do. You understand? So this competition this time is going to play in the season. It is not going to be one playoff. For example, the second divisions will start, play themselves, but by this time that they haven't started, and the Premier and Co have started. If that competition has been accepted by FA and FA has fixed it in its calendar, they will be starting playing themselves and knock themselves out. They will play to a level where Division 1 can now join and then continue playing to a level where Premier would then also join. Then we'll play to they get 4 teams that are on the table. They are 1 to 4. Then we group them to play among themselves until we get a champion where the president will honor that team. And this is purely presidential project, and I will expect that from the word go when you get to the office, we start the planning with the government and with the FA, and to make sure that, government have done a lot in this country over the past 4 years by building so many astroturfs, so many pitches across the country. How do people see what the government have done if football is not played on it for people to see? So I'm designing this project that for government to take it, to let people play on those pitches, for them to see that government didn't joke with our money, yet it created the effort for us to have our entertainment. So from the word go, it becomes president's share project. You understand? That is not to say that Ghalca will not go around also going to look for money to support. We will definitely do. I have worked and I've tailored everything that I'm working at, and I know how we're going to resources, how we're going to fund it, and how we're going to do it. I chaired, Genesis that you mentioned. I was the chairman of that competition. You saw how it was played. We had Ideal Financial Institution on board, and within first strat, yes, it's Ideal. That is their name. If you were in Cape Coast, Takoradi Second D, and you saw how that competition was played, up to now, when I talk to journalists and some people, they say we need more of this competition because of how it was organized and how it was sumptuous at that time. So we will not relent. I have told everybody that the days where Ghalca becomes 1 month meeting, 6 months, the people go and sit there and talk and leave, it's gone. It is going to be hands on deck from the word go. Every day there should be Ghalca executive to meeting this or meeting that, discussing this or discussing that. We'll be meeting everybody and every institution, everything that have anything to do with football. We'll make sure we'll complement the effort of the FA in all spheres of football to make sure that our football work again.
Mr. Koomson, listening to you talk about what you want to do for Ghalca, and this one we are gradually building up to the final phase of the conversation. Have you considered a budget that you would need within the first phase of your administration of Ghalca? How much do you think you need to revive Ghalca? You talked about engaging YEA to give you staff. All this requires money. Budget-wise, how much is required to revive Ghalca if delegates give you the mandate?
If you ask me sitting here about budget of that, would I say it will be an unfair question, because you need to be there and see what is there.
If you're not there and you talk about it, it becomes hypothetical, and when you speak hypothetically, it's because you don't have a clear idea of what is on the page.
My boss, I know the sources of finance of Ghalca. I know the sources of finance of Ghalca. Player sales, games proceeds, and competitions. So if I sit here and I've told you how I have done competition, and based on that I'm showing you my track record of organizing competition better to raise money, it tells you that I'm looking at something that I can do to bring money into the skating.
You see, before you continue, because I think this is clearly and extremely important, that everything is money.
I haven't doubted that. But if you say everything is money, I want you to tag me to say you have said presidential cap. How are you getting the money? But
even that one, just a moment.
You said you are going to bring 10 staff from IE. How are you going to pay them? Then you are asking a question.
Hold on. We are building up a conversation. If I have an idea about your budget, then I can now look at what the possibility of you being able to support your members who are going to participate in the presidential cup, and then I can look at that and say that, okay, if you are going to engage staff because of this budget, there's a possibility of you being able to take care of those numbers. So it's a conversation that is built up.
What you must understand is that many of the proposals I make is dependent on something. For example, the presidential cap, okay? If I lobby the FA, okay, and it becomes so difficult that looking at the task schedule, it becomes difficult for you to change the formation, okay? What it means is that if I have target 1,000 cities, it has changed. So it will not be necessary at this stage to run and talk of how much you're going to use when it is possible that because of time schedule, the competition's area you are looking at can change. Let that be aside. When I talk of the core, the people, we are not going to pay them. We, and if you heard my definition, if we are going to pay them, definitely I will not go into YEA to get employed, to get people employed. YEA pays the staff and pays the the people and give them to government agencies and people, those who need their services. You are aware of that, and that is the advantage we want to take because we are also under Ministry of Youth and Sports. So we are not going to pay them. And I told you that they are
Mr. Koomson, it's quite unfair.
I told you that they are going to get extra income when they are able to sell our products, and get sponsorship. You yourself mentioned commission immediately when I said. So that is everything I've said. There is a plan to it. There's how money will come to it and how we can resolve that issue.
Mr. Koomson, hold on. Mr. Koomson, hold on. You will have your say, but I need to ask my question. I need to ask my question. If I do not have an idea about how much it will cost me to buy a phone, I wouldn't go to the market asking for phone. If I do not have an idea about how much it will cost me to buy a car, I wouldn't go asking for the price of a car. I need to have an idea about how much it will cost me to buy a car before I can go out there and ask for a car. So if I do not have an idea about how much it will cost me to organize the presidential cup, then I'll just be playing the competition in the air.
My brother, this is your question. If indeed that is how you want to put it, then it take you a long time to buy a car. Trust me. You know why? Hey, people have said akola onya obeto car no, oya akola no bisa car nketo obisa say eton the same. There won't be any point if I tell you how much it will cost. I've already told you that the calendar in playing competition is not in the hands of Ghalca. Every competition you have to play, you have to seek explicit approval of FA. You must sit with the FA to see its calendar to agree with you to play. Are you getting me? Therefore, if I say I'm going to play all, and you get to the calendar and you realize that you can only start from here, what have I done?
So how much do you how much do you envisage to give to the winner of the presidential cup, apart from what we are giving to people previously, and those who exit at the group stages? How much do you envisage that you want to do so that you can make it quite more attractive?
I will encourage you to give me an interview immediately and win Ghalca election. I will tell you how much I will give to the winner.
That very day, the Nabila Show will be available at the Ghalca elections to bring you all the details of what will be happening. As he has said, the Nabila Show will be available to ensure that he provides us answers to some of the questions that we are asking, and it appears quite difficult for him to answer them for us, because at this point he will be throwing ammunitions up to his opponents in the market, who are also trying to convince others to give them their mandate to lead Ghalca. And clearly we understand, in as much as we would have appreciated it better if he had provided us answers. Let's go to the final phase of the conversation and get Mr. Koomson to speak to us on what delegates have been telling him in terms of his conversations with them. What have they been asking you for in your engagements with them, and what are your chances in this election?
Thank you very much. I must tell you that all my engagement with the delegates have shown disillusioned about the Ghalca. In fact, many of them say, Ghalca, are we sure it can come back? When they ask the question, they have in mind the period of Mr. J.Y. appear, those who experience that, so they keep asking those questions. But only what is being assuring is this project I've talked to you about. Immediately they get the explanation of this Ghalca welfare scheme, they know that something better is in the tunnel. And I keep on telling them that even if 4 years I couldn't do anything, I'm able to establish this welfare scheme. That alone will be enough for the 4 years. By that time, I've left a legacy that even if I sleep and I couldn't wake up, I'll be pleased I did that for Ghana football. So, so far for now, all is going well. I keep touching base to where I haven't touched. I keep talking to people I've not spoken to. I'll keep on also go over and talk to people again. Because of COVID and other things, it is becoming difficult to travel to somebody's hometown to go and meet him. You don't know what you'll be sending to the person or you'll be going to pick. So lucky technology has helped. We are doing video calls and then doing phone calls to communicate and sending my message. I believe you have seen them on the platform. I send it to the delegates every day. Every day I bring in new, I'm serializing my vision and my policy. Like I've told you about the welfare, I've sent it. I've told you about the decentralization of Ghalca, I've sent it. I've told you about Ghalca Presidential Cup, I've sent it. I've told you about Gala Night. We didn't talk about it. Very another sumptuous program. It's a way of rewarding hard-working journalists like you, hard-working administrators like myself, hard-working footballers like those we are yet to see, in a night of entertainment from 7 to Mama Course. Across the country, everybody will come after the season is over, after GFA calendar is over, after Ghalca calendar is over. We'll organize this gala night to award the distinguished and outstanding performance of the season. And this award cuts across the outstanding journalists who marketed and publicized FA and Ghalca product. A media house that followed Ghalca and GFA in all our products. We award them. We also award football administrators who were outstanding in the season. And most people who enjoyed the award will be the sponsors who spent their money on GFA and spent their money on Ghalca. And the award is going to be category from platinum to bronze. Some will be gold, some will be silver, depending upon the money you put in. And I'm sure you are definitely going to ask me, how am I going to get money?
Exactly where I was coming to, because we've been talking about money.
I have told you that everything I have said, I've planned for it too. Because I've been there. I've been in the GFA, I've been in Ghalca, hot seat. So if I don't have idea, I won't. It is only a matter of sample. Sponsors that have worked with us over the year. We are organizing the competition to honor you. So bring a little small for us to do it and honor.
In 2016, when I was speaking to you prior to the elections, but don't forget, I'm going to come back to the question I asked earlier, what your chances are in the elections. So make sure that you don't forget, because I have not forgotten. I'll come back to ask you about it, because prior to the 2019 GFA elections.
I was so optimistic then.
Okay. Now, you are talking about the gala night and all that, but in 2016, when you and I spoke, your key focus was more on marketing. Then you had talked about even how churches have got wristbands branded. You talked about how people are able to brand themselves everywhere, but you are selling the passion of the nation and people don't see you. What has happened to that idea of marketing the products Ghalca and football in general in the country?
My brother, it is all in a pack. But in every election, there are messages that resonate. So the mere fact that I'm not making this marketing, that time I was in the seat. Okay? So I need to do more marketing to generate money for the association. You understand? And I was talking in the view that the election is done and dusted. So I'm looking beyond what I'm going to do. Now somebody is on the seat, and I have to tell the people something different, something magical that can do the trick for them. That people can look at it and say, yes, when this thing is done for us, it will change our circumstances in football. This is what people want to hear. It is not time for waistbands. It's not time for those things. Though the package that when I get to a chance to what do you call lead, I will not joke with it. In fact, I have always said that you will walk in Accra whole town when you don't see any sign of premiership. Ghalca will lead that champion like before he entered the Accra stadium around the ministry. You see that big board that you see the politicians' logo and the pictures on. It will be our stars on it, so that any stranger, anybody who passes and you see, oh, this is what do you call Caliber Mankwa of Aduana Stars. Because so long as I'm Ghalca chairman, all those clubs will be under me, and their players will be cooperative if you want to, what do you call, publicize them. So these things will be done in earnest. These things will be done genuinely, and then our football will go places. That's why I keep on telling you that only way that our football will get the passion and create the word for all of us, as the FA president say, is to make Ghalca work again. And when Ghalca is working again and is vibrant and all activities are being patronized, Ghana football will go places because the excitement will come across. So when here is excited, they overflow because Ghalca are the clubs. So when they are excited, it will overflow into everything that GFA does, and Ghana football move forward. And that is what I'm dying hard. I'm dying and begging voters to know, don't let this chance pass. It is a chance that will make Ghalca work again, so that our football will be great again. I'm telling you, the delegates, that if we want to change the direction of Ghalca from agitation to proper welfare association, your candidate is Isaac Wilberforce Koomson. On this New Year Day, I can only wish you a happy New Year, and like a message I send across to ask you that in everything you do today, remember to spare a minute to look at Ghalca, the situation they are in, and look at the alternatives I'm offering you today, and make a wise choice to change the destiny of our association. Our regional chairman that I've been talking to you, I reminded you of one secret of our football. Remember to work at it and let us win together. Thank you.
And thank you. No, you've not finalized it because there was a question that was pending. And the question was on your chances of winning the elections. Yes. The delegates, I remember 2016, Kujofiana had 64, you had 13, Kofi Poko had 13, Odofa Safo had 13, 13 by 3, 26, 39, plus 64. That took the numbers to double. Now, what are your chances like before we wrap up the conversation? Because I have to wrap up the conversation, not you.
Most definitely, I would say my chances are bright. Currently, I would say I've talked to almost about 90% of delegates or club owners and administrators who are likely to vote. They keep assuring. And in election, you can only swallow assurance, nothing more. And it's assurance that keeps you going, because if you have gone and people have told you no, probably you might have, step down. But immediately they keep on assuring you, that is what carries you. And my luck and my joy is that Mr. Fianu, that I'm contesting, is in the seat and people are seeing what he has brought on the table. The challenge is that what can you tell people again for them to give you another opportunity?
60 votes, 70 votes, 100 votes?
You remind me of something, but I won't say it.
What is that thing? I referred to Mr. George Free in the 2019 GFA election. Why is that you're going to get 72 votes?
I say you are reminding me of something, but I won't say it.
And what is that thing?
It's my personal. All what I can say can tell you is that I'm talking to the delegates.
Kujofiano got 64 votes and he won it. Do you foresee yourself getting close to that?
44 will make me a winner. Are you getting me? 64 will make me a winner. So if that is what do you call, delegate feel is good for me, I will accept it.
So you're looking at 44 and 64, right?
44?
And 64.
Why 44?
Because you said 44 will make you a winner.
No, 44 can't make me a winner.
So it's all about 64.
Yes. You asked that Jofiano had 64. What am I looking at? I'm saying 64 make him a winner. So if that is what the delegate will give me, I'm all for it.
In other words, about 64 delegates can vote for you.
I'm aiming higher because for me, for what I'm telling the delegates, I'll be surprised if it is no more.
That is Mr. Wilberforce Koomson, Isaac Wilberforce Koomson, a 2020 Ghalca presidential candidate. The election was supposed to happen in 2020, but due to COVID-19, it had to be rescheduled to 2021. We'll be around to bring you all the details that will be happening at the Ghalca elections, and we'll be speaking to him afterwards, whether he wins or loses. He has spoken about how complacency got him to lose the 2016 one, but now he's learned his lessons, and that this year, per the conversation he's had with delegates, it clearly shows that they will give him the mandate to head the Ghana League Clubs Association. It's been an absolute pleasure coming your way with this special conversation on Muftar Nabila Abla YouTube channel, and this is the Nabila Show. Thanks very much for your company. See you again next time. Bye bye for now.
So you don't know friendly charge? Oh.